Hey guys, this is my review for The Marvels. This movie is directed by Nia DaCosta, who, as far as I know, she directed Candyman, um, and that movie had a lot of Jordan Peele influence. I remember Nope. I love Nope. I'm not good. I know y'all usually be like, you didn't like Us. I liked Get Out. I didn't like Us. I didn't like his rendition on Twilight Zone. I didn't like Candyman, but I don't really blame her for that. So I was like, let's see what she does with this movie. This movie's been getting a lot of backlash before the movie even came out, before the movie even released. But me personally, I love these characters. There's different possibilities with the story and what I saw could have been done, and I was like, I'm ready to watch it. Now, The Marvels is a culmination. It kind of sets itself up for people to backlash it and kind of already have their own prejudices for the movie. The movie is the culmination of having to watch WandaVision, having to watch Miss Marvel, having to pay a bunch of attention in Multiverse of Madness, having to watch Captain Marvel. These are either all projects that people didn't like for various reasons, or they just didn't want to watch. Me personally, I enjoyed WandaVision a lot. I think it kind of fell apart towards the end. I didn't really enjoy Multiverse of Madness, but I liked it for certain parts, obviously. And Miss Marvel, I actually loved the show. The villain was the way they did the villain in Miss Marvel was weird, but Iman Vellani carried that show. Her family carried that show. Like, just the characters and the love that they showed for that character and how they portrayed that show made it an amazing show, and I really enjoyed it. WandaVision, one of my favorite parts was Photon, even though they don't call her Photon in the movie The Marvels. I don't know why they didn't do that. They do hint at calling her Spectrum, but they don't actually call her Spectrum. And they hint at her old costume that had the wings on it, but it's a flash and you miss it. This movie stars, like I said, it was directed by Nia DaCosta, but it stars Monica, well, not golly, stars Captain Rambeau, Monica Rambeau, played by Teyonnah Parris, who was in, I think they cloned Tyrone. She was in WandaVision. It stars Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. It stars Iman Vellani as Miss Marvel. There's scenes that have Park Seo Joon, I think his name is. I don't know if I said that right, but he is a very well-known Korean actor, and he was actually in Parasite. I didn't even know that he was in Parasite. Love that movie. The villain is played by Zawe Ashton. I think I said that right. She's actually engaged to Tom Hiddleston, which Loki season finale was the same day as the release of The Marvels. I've seen her in some things. I actually don't like the movies that she was in, but she's never the issue. Like, she wasn't the person that I'm like, I didn't watch this or like this because of her. So I've heard she's a pretty good British actor. I don't think she's a bad actor at all. I don't think any of the actors in this movie had an issue to do with the problems that this movie did have. But she plays Dar-Benn. I want to say Dar-Benn is a sister of Ronan, but I know she's a part of the Kree. So the breakdown of the movie is, as we know, the one problem I would say with the movie that a lot of people are gonna have is if you don't know a lot of like the comics or the back, like not even just watching the shows, but if you don't know the comics and you don't know the background story behind these characters, a lot of it's gonna miss you. A lot of it you're gonna be confused and you're gonna be like, okay, there's not enough. The movie's too short for me. I don't really like short. It's not like ridiculously short, but it's an hour and 45 minutes, including credits. But for me, it's too short because the pacing is very jarring. And if you don't really know the backstory, not only just from the shows, but from the comics, a lot of the things in the movie hold some weight that the movie doesn't explain to you. So I like that and I don't like that. I love when movies don't have to cater and explain things to people that you should kind of want to go explore and want to go know. I love directors who do that, so I do commend the movie for that. But I also see how it can be a downside because a lot of people are going to be confused and not know. And also, I would say one thing that Brie Larson does, I don't know if it's just her acting. I haven't really seen many other things she's been in, but she delivers emotional, what is it, gravitas, very weird. So scenes where she should be emotional, she delivers it not too well. There was a scene where she cried, but the pacing, I said, messed it up kind of, and I was like, man, she actually did really good with that. But as a character, I love Brie Larson. I actually like her in Captain Marvel. I'm not a really big Scott Pilgrim fan. I think that's where she was originally from long ago. But as Captain Marvel, I love her. I personally don't like the character of Captain Marvel as much as I like Brie Larson. Like, I like Brie Larson, I just don't like the character. So for me, I'm more of a Photon Spectrum fan. I'm more of a Miss Marvel fan. But Captain Marvel, I don't really like. For me, this doesn't happen in the movie, but you already know it's spoilers. For this movie to be a 10 out of 10 would be my favorite X-Men character, and one of my favorite heroes ever would be Rogue coming in, stealing Carol Danvers' powers, and that being that. I would have been extremely happy. But that has nothing to do with Brie Larson. That's just me not liking Captain Marvel. For the movie itself, I feel like it has a lot of positives. Like I said, the chemistry of the characters works very well. The movie is, besides the pacing, the movie's directed very well. I love the way everything looks. I love kind of the flow of the different planets. So I guess the cinematographer. Also, the direction of, so the movie basically, their powers get entangled. And entangled, that's funny. The powers get entangled because Monica and Carol both touched jump points. And jump points are what, like the Guardians, everybody flies through in space to get to different times in space very quickly. But the issue with this movie, and the issue that's been happening, is the reality has been very fragile. The multiverse is starting to get broken open, and realities are starting to bleed into other realities, things like that, incursions. It's explained in all the other movies. Basically, what happens is they touch this jump point that was forced open. They're not supposed to be forced open. They're supposed to be open a certain way. They're first opened by the quantum bands, which were in Miss Marvel. And Dar-Benn has one, and Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, has the other one. So she uses one, she forces these jump points open. It causes a huge problem, but it makes their powers get entangled. I love how the movie did it. It teased that they were going to be like switching and it's going to be random, but they came together as a team. They figured out, we're going to see what happens when we use our powers when we switch, so we can train and be better doing this. And I love that part of the movie because it set up a lot of good scenes where they were switching on purpose, using their powers in tandem. One thing I will say that's different kind of from a lot of the Marvel movies is not many of them, the action is top tier. There's probably like 5 or 10 out of the like 30, and then if you include the shows, there's probably like 40 something projects now. I would say about half of them are really great with action. This movie falls in that category. They did a great job with the action scenes. I know she said she did that on purpose. She studied like Final Fantasy VII, Advent Children, some other movies and things like that. And I feel like she did a great job directing the acting scenes, directing the chemistry was amazing between these characters. The movie was funny. It was emotional. I enjoyed this film a lot. It has its flaws, but I still enjoyed it because I enjoyed these characters going in. I enjoyed where the story can go. Post-credit scenes, if you guys care enough, I'll talk about the ramifications of the ending of the movie and the post-credit scene. I don't really want to ruin it for you. If you pay a lot of attention, you knew how this movie was going to go and you knew what it was going to be setting up. There was some article that came out like, oh, Marvel's gonna pivot and they're freaking out and blah blah blah. No, this was always the plan all along. This is why I watched all the shows, to see how it was leading up, because this is what I've been waiting for. Once they got the rights back to certain characters, I've been waiting for this to happen. The next movie is, I think, Deadpool 3 next year, so you know how that's gonna go. But ultimately, I love the Marvels. I enjoyed it. The crazy thing is, a lot of people said it's better than the first Captain Marvel. For me, I think it is better than the first Captain Marvel, which I actually enjoyed the first Captain Marvel. I feel like the movie just, my only gripe is it didn't have enough time to lean into the characters as much as it should have. I know why they kept it short, because it was a double-edged sword. Either they were going to love it or they were going to hate it. But people who love these characters, there's a lot of scenes where I wanted to see them more fleshed out. I wanted to interact with these characters more. I love these characters. You could put any of these characters in this movie and in any other project, and I would be like, I'm gonna watch it. Even Captain Marvel, because I like Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. She's great as Captain Marvel, but I don't like the character of Captain Marvel. But Iman Vellani, sorry, killed it. Her family killed it. Samuel Jackson, he's always gonna kill it as his character. There was other actors in this movie. I feel like they all played their part right. For me, I don't even like musicals. Y'all know that. And the musical City wasn't as jarring. I love the way that they did it. But like I said, the movie, if you enjoy these characters, you'll enjoy the movie. It sets up a lot towards the end of the movie. It does. It's another tease of what we saw in Multiverse of Madness, just done a different way. And the way that the movie ends is really perfect. Like, whoever set up the ending, I don't know if it was because they did reshoots, but it was done really well. I say go see the Marvels. If you don't care to watch the shows and you don't care about the bigger ramifications and the ideas that Marvel is touching on and things that could happen, and you're like, the MCU isn't the same as it was, you might not enjoy this movie. But if you know what's to come and you're someone who grew up with these stories and can see where they're headed, it adds a lot of impact and gravitas that isn't really there. But it can't really be there unless you love it that much and you're that passionate. But thank you guys so much for supporting me. I'm glad I'm back able to do these movies. I always say I'm going to try to stay consistent. I'm going to just try to prove it to you. But go see the Marvels. And I don't know when the next Marvel movie is. I think it's Deadpool 3 in like July or something. So it might be a while, but you know, I'll still watch a lot of other movies. But if y'all want me to discuss the post-credit scenes and other things that could happen and things I think might happen, just let me know. Leave a comment, like, dislike, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want. But thank you guys that all support me. And I love you guys, and y'all have a wonderful, blessed day.